classification of plants. Okay. So this is actually under a subtopic on biology where you look at the importance of plants to man and for other purposes. So it's like looking at the relevance of biology in agriculture. How do you apply biology and agriculture? How is agriculture and biology related? So that is basically what you are looking at under this topic, classification of plants. And from what we have here on the board, you can classify plants under two bases. The first basis is classification based on life cycle, okay? And the second is classification based on agricultural purpose. So let's quickly look at the first one, which is this classification based on life cycle. Now, when you're looking at classification based on life cycle, plants generally can be grouped into three groups, okay? Annuals, biennials, and perennials. Okay? Or sometimes we refer to annuals as annual plants or annual crops, okay? Biennial plants or biennial crops, and then perennial plants or perennial crops. So those are basically the three, classifications you have under life cycle. Now, annual crops or annuals are plants, okay? Annual plants, annual crops, whatever you may choose to refer to them as, are basically plants that complete their life cycle in 1 year. So remember we said classification based on life cycle, okay? So plants that complete their entire life cycle, they germinate, they grow, they bear fruit and all that, in the span of 1 year, within 1 year, are referred to as annual crops or annual plants or annuals. And examples include rice, maize, beans, etc. So these plants are basically plants that complete their life cycle within 1 year. So they are referred to as annuals. Now the second is biennials. And these are plants that complete their life cycle within the span of 2 years. So you have some plants that complete their entire life cycle within the span of 2 years, and these plants are referred to as biennials. Now, examples of biennials include pepper, carrot, ginger, etc. So those are some examples of biennials. They germinate, bear fruits and all that, and die within the span of 2 years. And then lastly, you have the third category, which is perennials. Now, these plants basically complete their cycle within any period of time more than 2 years, from 3 years upwards, okay? And majority of them are trees. Majority of plants under this category are actually trees. So you have trees like your mango, okay, cashew, etc. Basically those trees, those plants that take a large number of years, a high number of years, many years to complete their life cycle, they are referred to as perennials. So I hope we've understood the classification based on life cycle. Now, okay, so I will write this now. And then we'll look at the second classification, which is classification based on agricultural purpose. Now, classification based on agricultural purpose, you actually have numerous classifications or many classifications under this, okay? So examples of some which we'll look at include the cereals, the legumes, you also have the root crops, you have the vegetables, you have fruits, you have spices, you have beverages, you have fibers, and so on and so forth. You have so many. There are also many other, classifications or other groups of plants, other ways you can group plants under this classification. So let's look at each of them. Now, we mentioned cereals as the first one. Of course, the first crops or plants that may come to mind when you mention cereals include your maize, millet, okay, etc. So basically, cereals are mostly carbohydrates in nature. They are a very good source of carbohydrates, okay? So examples include maize, millet, and so on and so forth. And we need to understand that they actually constitute a large bulk of food in the world, okay? So most of the food in the world, not only in Africa, not only in Nigeria, but also many parts of the world, are cereals. So it's cereals are very important constituents of what we consider food on a day-to-day basis. Now you have legumes. Legumes are known for their protein content. Examples of legumes include your beans, okay? Beans is the most popular. You also have things like your bambara nuts, okay? So those are examples of legumes. And like we said, they are known for their high protein content, or dietary protein content, okay? Now, another importance of legumes is basically the plant itself. Now, the roots of legumes are basically known for having nitrogen fixing properties, okay? The roots of legumes are known for having nitrogen fixing properties. So planting legumes also helps to fix nitrogen in the soil. Now next, what we have here is root crops. Okay? Root crops. And basically, root crops are grown. Root crops are also known for their carbohydrate content. Root crops are known for their carbohydrate content. Thank you.